Oh, that's right. How you doing this morning? Hey, it's me, Ann Eller, live on the radio, live in studio, live here with Princess Penny here this morning. Well, you woke up today. I woke up today. It's it's another day. And yesterday, they brought DJ Keller's body home from Abbeville. And it was quite a sight to see all the people lining the roads, Main Street, as they took his body to Harley's funeral home. I mean, I think the outpouring of grief that we have seen, the reality that something has got to happen in our community, I hope is starting to sink in. The grief that I have seen in our community, and then those that are trying to do something to make a difference. There certainly has been what I would say is a lot of that. I mean, everything from yard signs for DJ to ribbons to a what do they call? Is it a challenge? It looks like a type of challenge coin. All these things are out there to help us get through the grief and to help us start to heal. I think the thing about it is we've got to do more. Maybe not at this moment. Maybe the best that we can do is start the healing process through this. But one thing that I am sure that we cannot say this is the way it is. Because when we become complacent in this world, and we have been complacent, these are the type of things that keep escalating. And whether it's Greenwood as a microcosm of our country, or whether it is events that are happening in little small ways, digging away at I'm going to say the moral fiber of our country, we need to start figuring out how to make changes. What is it about the past? Somebody's going to say, Ann, you're getting too old. And maybe I am. But what is it about the past that was good that we have lost in today's world? So it's not a day to have a discussion about this, but it is a day to start thinking about what can we do to make a difference in the future. I do want you to know that they did read D.J. Keller's name into the South Carolina Senate record, and I believe they did it in the House also. His name was read in there as, I'm not sure exactly what it said, but I was told that they did do that. So he was honored by the South Carolina Senate, and while I have not confirmed this for the House, I believe it was also done in the House yesterday. And there are things afoot that will make sure that DJ's life will be remembered. Not anything that's going to happen today or tomorrow, but things that are going to happen. And you can be assured that me and another group of people are going to make sure that that happens. It is unbelievable the ripple effect that something like this can have on a community, on a state, and probably not on a nation, although I'd like to think so, because so many other areas are dealing with these type of things. So, we have to heal. We have to come together. We have to not blame. But we all need to stand up and work together to make a difference and get our community, the Greenwood community, back to those days that some of us still remember. Some it may be a foreign concept about, but to remember those days. And so whether you are old or young or in between, we're all going to have to work together to make this difference. Whether we can or not, of course, will become a defining moment in this city's development. So I am Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. At 10 o'clock, we are going to have Mayor Brandon Smith join us to talk a little bit about some of the things that are happening out there. I was going to just kind of give you a list of some of the things that are happening. They have done a official officer DJ Keller memorial coin. It's been approved by the Keller family and the Greenwood Police Department, and it's called a Level Up Challenge Coins is the name of the company, in partnership with the Keller family and the Greenwood Police Department is honored to present this memorial challenge coin in remembrance of Officer DJ Keller. The coin is 3 and is detailed. 100% of the proceeds from the coin will go directly to the Keller family. So this item is a pre-sale item. It says that it will take 6 to 7 weeks for production and delivery. It is a beautiful, beautiful coin. And it looks like, from what I'm seeing here, that it's on Etsy.com. And it says /official officer Don G.J. Keller if you'd like to see about one of those. Friday, I'm just going to go through all the things that are happening in our community where everybody is putting an effort for what they can do, and because everybody feels the need to do something. It's kind of like in the South. I don't remember this as much in the North, but in the South, somebody was telling me yesterday that everybody always says when somebody dies, everybody has to go make I don't know why they said this, a green bean casserole, and maybe that's it, but it's all about the food. It's all about caring. It's all about seeing what we can do. And our community right now is trying to do everything that they can do. So coming up Friday, they are having at 6 p.m. at a quaint little place, 448 Calhoun Avenue, right here in Greenwood. They are having a candle prayer vigil, and the power of unity. They will be gathering there. That is at 6 p.m. on Friday. So if you would like to go to that is an event that is out there to help people heal. I think that this is the thing to me, is it's the idea of helping heal. Emerald Gardens Community Prayer Gathering, Friday, May 15th at 10:30 a.m. And they're suggesting that you wear blue, for that. That's at Emerald Gardens. I mean, I am amazed at how many things are out there that people are doing in their own little bit to help. I'm not sure that you know this or not, but on Sunday is when they will be having the funeral for DJ Keller. Um, and that will be at Phineas Horn at 2 p.m. at Phineas Horn Arena right there at Lander University. I'm sure if you want to go to this, you probably should arrive a little bit early because it is from 2 to 3. And I would remind you that Phineas Horn does have a clear bag policy. So if you are going to the funeral, keep that in mind, a clear bag policy. What they have written on for the obituary for DJ on Harley's website is just so beautiful, and I'm not going to read the whole thing because you can go back and look at it. It is on Harley Funeral and Crematory's website. And it says DJ's journey, but I would like to read parts of it. DJ's journey was shaped by dedication and service from an early age. He was a graduate of Ware Shoals High School and furthered his commitment to law enforcement by graduating from the South Carolina Police Academy in 2023. That same year, he began his career with the Greenwood City Police, where he quickly distinguished himself through his commitment and skill. In 2025, DJ became a K-9 officer, partnering with his loyal K-9 companion, Vice, a team that was both respected and admired with the department and the community. His service, though, extended beyond his badge. He was a veteran of the United States Army, attaining the rank of E6 during his 4 years of active duty from 2016 to 2020, continuing his dedication to the safety and pride of his state. He remained an active member of the South Carolina National Guard. His military and law enforcement careers were a testament to his unwavering dedication to protecting and serving his country and community. He loved the outdoors. He was an avid sportsman, spent time hunting, fishing, and shooting, activities that brought him peace and joy. He is survived by his devoted wife, Allison, Allie, Charles Keller, and their beloved daughter. I mean, it is such a tragedy. And it'll be a tragedy if our community does not change our ways to make a difference in this world. I was talking to somebody early this morning, and we were talking about being old. And how being old makes you feel like you don't fit. But it makes you feel like you don't fit because you remember the way things were. And while I think all people are adaptable, one of the things that I think older people rail against is about the good things that were in their lives and how we don't seem to have those good things. Parents, love them or be mad at them. You may have had parents, and parents that forced you to do things, the right things. You had parents that were engaged in your life, that were looking over for you. If you grew up in Greenwood in the 60s and the 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you may have had that extended family sitting on the front porch knowing that you had done wrong, and then your mama was going to know about it. But somewhere along the things changed, and it became not necessary to have a dad in the house. And that, of course, is where a lot of the things that happened to society that we're dealing with, not only in Greenwood, but in Chicago, New York, Nashville, little towns all across this United States. And you know what I find amazing is that people come to live in Greenwood and talk about what a nice town it is, because it is a nice town. But we have issues here too, and we can no longer put it off till it's the government's responsibility, it's the state's responsibility. It's time that we said it's our responsibility. And whether it's Anthony Price talking about brain health and how brains can be rewired from an early age, or whether it's having mentors that work with young kids, or whether our communities become more integrated so that children see there are ways out of the life that they may be being raised in. Those are things that all matter, and those are things that we can start chipping away at. So, as we move forward through this weekend, our attention and focus needs to be about wrapping our arms around our law enforcement officers, our first responders, our firemen. Our purpose has to be to wrap our arms around these folks. We should wrap our arms around Allison and her daughter. I've heard people telling me that they are contributing money to. There's all different funding avenues to go. I've heard of organizations. I've heard of tremendous things happening in our community, and I know that these while I really feel like they should be called out for their good deeds, I also am cognizant of the fact that they just want to do the right thing. So I'm not going to do that. But if you have something that you'd like to say about somebody this morning, 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. Would love to hear from you. If you know of something that maybe I haven't mentioned, I'm getting ready to talk about some. This Sunday at 4:30, there is going to be a community prayer service at Emmanuel Church over there at 501 Cresswell Avenue. That'll be actually after the funeral. The funeral is at 2 o'clock on Sunday. So, but if somebody has something they'd like to say or something they'd like me to read, please feel free. 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. So let me see what we got going on here today. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you are thinking as you move forward through your grief period here, because we all are grieving in our own ways. But let's go back and talk about some of the events that are happening. Let's see, where was I? Here I was over here. I said that community prayer service that is going to be at Emmanuel, right over there on Cresswell Avenue. That is at 4:30 Sunday. They are doing some We Back the Blue, Officer Don DJ Kelly yard signs will be available Saturday morning in front of Howard's on Main. The signs are $25. If you would like to give more, it will be welcome. Please bring cash or check made out to ILC. Please share this information. We hope you will proudly display your sign, and they will be set up, it says, by 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. So that will be down there at Howard's if you'd like to get those. That would be another way to show your support and to contribute to helping with all the expenses, all the heartache. You know, money doesn't make anything right. It doesn't bring somebody back. but it can provide comfort and less worry. And I think that is the thing where money becomes a very valuable tool for someone to have. It creates that I don't have to worry how I'm going to pay my bills tomorrow, how I'm going to pay a house payment, or whatever it is. So this is why money is important. I also saw a service out there where they were wanting people to volunteer to take meals, not only to the Keller family, but also to some of our police officers. You know, some of our police officers are suffering tremendously anguish, which you can imagine. You can imagine. So, Trey Gowdy had a podcast the other day. He has his podcast, and he was talking with Neil Gorsuch, and it says, American history is complicated, but I think all of us can rally behind three ideas in the Declaration. They speak to every human heart. And somebody just asked me, why was DJ's body in Abbeville? Because that's where the coroner did his examination, the medical examiner. So I know there was no question as to the cause of death, and I don't really know, but I believe there probably is some protocol that says that an autopsy would be necessary just to make sure that everything was on the up and up. And we all know it was, but that is just to protect when a case goes to trial, that they can show that there was no fault of the officer. So that is why it was coming from the coroner's office, and that's why it came from Abbeville. So there is a lot more out there. Let me see if I can find some more things. I think that going down Main Street was quite something. Don't you think that was an unbelievable show of support by our law enforcement to be coming down there? I think it was pretty awesome. And of course, then afterwards there was oh my God, there was another. Did you hear about the case? A lot of people. It was on Facebook that there was another speed chase through town. Well, actually, it was not our law enforcement. It actually was SLED was in town. Now, I'm not sure they were in town for the person that they ended up catching at the end, but that's why that was. It is just kind of odd that it was within, I think, 30 minutes of the of when they'd had the procession down to Harley. Uptown Greenwood has put blue ribbons down Main Street. That's pretty lovely. That is pretty lovely, too. A police officer is dead. The argument started almost before the grief did. That tells us something important about where we are. And that is so true. We can't blame anybody. We can only try to figure out how to solve this so that our community is not lost. And I think that is the thing, that as far as healing and where we go from here, how can we make a difference futuristically? What can we do? So that is what I hope that the people, all of us, can figure this out. One thing that is going on tonight, there is a community prayer. Will be Thursday, 7 p.m. at the Uptown Fountain. Our community needs prayers. Our community needs prayers, but they need, and even more than prayers, I think we need resolve. A resolve that we are going to do something. So I certainly hope that we will have the resolve to do something. This is not really, I mean, it is a good thing, so I want to mention it. Greenwood County free food distribution will be this Friday, May 15th, 9 to 11 a.m. 9 to 11 a.m. at South Main Baptist Church. So no paperwork, no need to get out of your car, first come, first serve. That is Friday morning. Friday morning, that's tomorrow from 9 to 11. And I hope that you will take the time to go back and listen to the show that I did the other afternoon with... We must have wind going on outside. I've got a doorbell that lets me know someone's coming down. I gotta say this, it's driving me nuts because I can't go check it out and see what it is. I've got a doorbell that goes off when somebody comes down my driveway. And so, okay, tell you what we're gonna do. Maybe I didn't unlock the door, but the doorbell keeps going off. I got all this insanity going on here. So let me go ahead and we'll put a little commercial break on. We'll be right back. Don't you go away. This is WCRS Radio right here in Greenwood, South Carolina. It's not the show end, Ann. How about just a commercial break here this morning? We'll get it here just a minute, folks. This is live radio, live on Facebook, live radio, and it always is the same thing, just for the record. It's always operator error. All the things that I do wrong are always operator error. I don't know. Did he come in or not? The mayor is supposed to be here. Oh, he is here. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, have a seat because I was going to do a commercial break if I hadn't left the door unlocked, but I guess I did leave the door unlocked. So we have Brandon here. So you don't need those if you don't want. I mean, if you want them, you don't need them. But we are going to get back to the show here now. Penny's having a little bit of consternation here this morning. There's a man in the building. Yeah. So let's see. How you doing this morning, Brandon?
About you? As well as can be.
Absolutely. There certainly has been an outpouring in the community for DJ Killer.
Absolutely. I mean, this has been probably the longest, less than 72 hours that I can remember. But this is where the Greenwood community really shines in times of grief like this. I know there's sometimes this perception that there's bickering that goes on, and maybe there is
blame going on, and that's the problem. There is blame going on.
Right. But I believe that
if you're on Facebook.
Well, I've tuned out what I need to tune out, but I remain of the opinion that 99.9% want to see Greenwood succeed, and
absolutely.
And it's this 0.1% that give Greenwood a bad name in several different ways, but the outpouring of support has been tremendous. I mean, from the Greenwood community, and even outside of Greenwood too.
Absolutely.
I think on Sunday you'll see a crowd, certainly majority Greenwood folks, but you're going to see people from all over at DJ's funeral. Absolutely. On Sunday.
Absolutely. So this is but this could be a reset button.
It could be, absolutely.
And it's not. It could be. It should be. It should be.
It shall be.
It shall be.
Yes.
Because when somebody loses their life in pursuit of doing what they were asked to do, right, it is incumbent upon we, the people, to pick up the mantle and go forth. That his
death is not in vain. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have an opportunity. It arose from just an awful, tragic situation, but we have an opportunity here to continue the work to make Greenwood safer and the place that we all know and love.
Well, I think that isn't that the problem. Is I was just talking about the '60s, the '70s. It was different.
It is. It was.
And the changes in the status of the mills. There are a lot of things politically that have caused things to change, but our whole community needs to pull back. And I was talking to somebody this morning about being old, and what a
You're not there yet.
well, when you have life experience, okay,
Right.
life experience,
experience.
and you can remember things, and then you rail against the fact why it's not like that today.
Right. And, in a very simplistic form, you and I remember times before these.
Right.
There's a whole generation that knows only that and the unique pressures that brings that we don't understand. I mean, brains that have only formed with devices. It's a different time. I mean, we face a lot of national issues that hit Greenwood. And then we're a unique, close-knit community. Greenwood is unique. There is no other place like Greenwood. I have searched. There's Anniston, Alabama is probably the closest in that it's a hub.
How would you know that was that way? Have you
Well,
been
I've done
there?
a lot of research. I've actually never been to Anniston.
Okay,
but
I was going to say.
I looked for communities similarly situated, similarly sized, that are the hubs of multi-county areas that aren't on interstates, which are at least an hour away from larger metropolitan areas in the South.
Right.
And that's what I could find.
Okay.
So we're unique. We don't have an interstate coming through here, but yet we're the hub of the Lakelands of about 250,000 people. We have our own, media with great radio organizations, the Voice of Greenwood, like you, the Index Journal, and we're off the beaten path, but we are a unique community. And as you mentioned, we were formed from the convergence of railroads and the textile industry. And when textiles shift, although Greenwood Mills is still a huge player in the textile circles, but when it changes from being this empire that it once was in the 20th century, the changes that affect a lot of textile towns have affected Greenwood.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that you could say about the textiles, about Greenwood Mills, was the mill villages.
Right.
They were little conclaves of people that all cared about each other.
That's right. Little mini villages within Greenwood.
And we lost some of that when the mills started, the federal government started breaking up what mills could do. The houses had to be sold off. The laundry service. I mean, all the things that were part of it.
Trade and international trade and manufacturing,
I was talking about from the mill village.
I think what you're talking about is part of that as well. Mm-hmm. And you do. And so now you go to, say, for instance, the Matthews Mill Village, and there are still tons of people that are proud of their community, but there's a lot of absentee landlords there and you've got heirs, you've got, 8, 16 people that own homes, and they don't live locally, and they rent out to other people that don't always, with many exceptions, don't always take pride in their homes and their general community like others do.
That's true. So, what did you think of the people lining the streets yesterday?
Oh, it was so touching. I mean, it was obviously a somber moment, but again, that's where Greenwood shines, and we've seen that a lot, not just during the time that I've been mayor, but any time of crisis. I mean, for instance, 9/11, coronavirus, Hurricane Helene. I mean, it was quiet, it was somber, it was respectful, and there are a lot of people that didn't know, had never met Officer DJ Keller, but were out there paying their respects and showing the respect for law enforcement that oftentimes, again, that 0.1% likes to flaunt. People who are committing crimes egregiously, and folks that just, whether it's on social media or whatever, just disrespect law enforcement.
So, one of the things that I was talking about was the memorial that is set up there by the courthouse.
Right.
And I did say that I never understood it, meaning having a memorial. You see it in other communities where there's a mass shooting, where this and people gather and they bring things. I think of Princess Diana, the huge display. And I never really understood it because I'd never really had that type of community response.
Right.
But to see that down there, it really is awe-inspiring, and I understand it so much better now.
It is, and it's so emotional to go see that. I saw Fox Carolina there this morning. They were asking me how long it was going to be out there. I said, indefinitely. I don't know how long it'll be there. But were you in Greenwood in 1988 when we had the school shooting at Oakland Elementary?
Yes.
I mean, it was similar to that.
It was the first.
It was.
The first one. Everybody always thinks of
Columbine. Right.
But it's the first one.
It was.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And there are so many people that keep that memory alive. I know Shannon Hill,
Smith.
Shannon Smith Hill, who I'm planning to have lunch with very soon. She and I are around the same age. I was in the 4th grade at Lakeview Elementary at that time, and Miss Finkbeiner was my PE teacher also. So it was a very traumatic time, and there's a memorial, 38 years later that remembers the lives lost and the heroes from that incident. And until you're in it, you don't understand it. You're
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
You're right.
And so, if you'd like to go by there, it is very, very, very touching. So, one of my questions to you, Mayor, is we are here with Mayor Brandon Smith. Is how do we support our officers after the funeral fades? I mean, that'll be Sunday.
Right.
How do we support them?
Continuing to show respect. You don't have to always agree with everything that goes. If you get
That's
a traffic,
right, Brandon. I don't always agree with you.
and I'm not talking about me.
Right,
I mean, you get
know.
a traffic ticket, you're welcome to contest it, request a jury trial, whatever. I'm just giving you a little example, but just respecting the bravery, the badge, I mean, again, Officer Keller, when he woke up Monday morning, he did not expect this. And thankfully, it's been since March 18th, 1956 that we lost an officer, Officer Alvis Pete Phillips, about a block from where this happened, if you can believe that.
Really?
Yeah, maybe not even a block away. And we will never forget his sacrifice. And I pray to God it is we never have to experience this again, or at least it's well more than 70 years before we have to experience that. But there's a number of ways to support both our law enforcement and Officer Keller's family. We've had an outpouring of support of folks just willing to contribute to our law enforcement. I'll start with that first. Granny Hands, Tish Turner, Granny Hands and Landis, feeding our officers. Howard's on Main, Howard Corley, feeding our officers. There's many ways that you can show your respect for these officers who have a very thankless job oftentimes.
And stressful.
It's stressful jobs beyond what we can imagine when we go to, 9 to 5s. It's a very stressful job. Saturday, but shifting to support Officer Keller's family, there's a number of ways. There's a page on our city police department's Facebook and our city website where you can contribute directly.
And all the money.
All the money, 100%. 100% goes to Officer Keller's widow, Allie, and their daughter, who I'm about to go visit here with Solicitor Stumbo in just a moment. But Saturday morning, there will be in front of Howard's starting at 7:30. I think John Kynard.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. John Kynard wanted me to tell everybody he'll be out there at 7:30. He'll probably have already walked 6 miles at that point. If you ever see Kynard walking around all over Greenwood, he gets his steps in, but he's going to be out there early. They have at least 250 yard signs that say "Back the Blue." They also have a little badge, City of Greenwood badge, and it says Officer DJ Keller on there. And you can show your support by purchasing one of those for $25, or again, if you just want to contribute directly to his family fund. But those are tangible, visible ways that you can show your support. I know in Lodge grounds we're not allowed to have yard signs. I'm going to.
Can't you get that change? Come on, Mayor. Can't you get that change?
I'm going to request that we relax those requirements in this situation.
Yes.
So anyway, there'll be 500 of those. Hopefully, I anticipate those selling out quickly, very quickly. And again, that's a way that you talk about what can you do after Sunday, after the ceremony and the funeral is over. That's a lasting way that you can show your respect for Officer Keller's sacrifice, but also not only is the City of Greenwood Police Department, but our Sheriff's Department, other agencies. I mean, the City of 96 has a police department. The town of 96, the town of Ware Shoals, our state law enforcement. I spoke to some highway patrol officers and state law enforcement officers this morning at City Hall. And then there's also some challenge coins that are being sold by our police department. Again, 100% of proceeds go directly to the city's not profiting off of that. The signs that we mentioned are going through Emmanuel Lutheran Church, and we're grateful for their support, but they're not receiving any of those profits.
Those are all things, but I think we need to come up with a way to support. I think just holding people up.
Right.
Holding people up. And there are a lot of those things, and there'll be, I'm sure, more things. There's quite a wonderful song that has been put out there. Don, you answered your final call. Rest easy, brother. That's a beautiful song that's out there. And prayer vigils, they're all over. But I just worry about futuristically what can be done. How are we going to move forward? I know I had David Stumbo on the other day. We talked about the program that is being started, and one of the things I didn't realize was the mentorship that is part of this program.
Yeah, it's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. The problem is, though, we take those kids out for a few hours. I tried to think to myself, how can that make a difference? It can make a difference for a few hours, but they go right back to the situation. The only good I could see coming out of it is that maybe you reach some of these kids and they go, there is another way.
That's all we can hope for, because we can't be there 24 hours, and government certainly can't solve all these problems alone.
Well, we don't want the government actually solving all our problems, do we?
We want to be a support to the community solving problems. And this may sound like it's a non-specific, abstract answer, but it takes, I mean, it sounds crazy, but it takes everyone. That's what all these meetings have talked about, whether it's nonprofits, positive male and female role models in lives, mentorship programs. Yeah, we can't be there 24 hours a day, but we can, when we have that time, that quality time with young men and women, be positive male and female role models in their lives. Now, turning that train around to hopefully, to give you my utopian view of what can be, that someday we are able to send these young men and women home to positive environments where they sleep and eat dinner and breakfast, between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. But until that time, all we can do is provide support and show examples of positive. And again, you don't have to agree with every single political position or,
raising kids, really, it shouldn't be political.
And
it should be about love, caring, and forming a sentient, thinking human being.
That's absolutely right. I couldn't have said it better. There are folks on all ends of the political spectrum that love their children in different ways, and it's the old Bob Dylan line. What's
the Bob Dylan line?
The Bob Dylan line is we all did feel the same. We just saw it from a different point of view.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I think that, and I think integrating our communities would be a help too.
Absolutely, and I'd like to think that folks that grew up in the Jim Crow era and even before that a lot of them have passed. For instance, Benjamin Mays. I would like to think that he's smiling and saying, look how far we've come. We still have work to do, but look how far we've come since my earliest recollection, the Phoenix race riots in 1898. Think about how far we've come since then. But we're not finished, obviously.
Well, and it's a question. Have we come far or have we fallen back?
It's not a linear...
Not in political, but I'm talking about in family values.
Absolutely.
It's a great values, and that's what we need to be concentrating on.
I think you raise an interesting point that and progress isn't always linear, but I think you raise a great point. Have we gone back from a family situation? And I think there's a very strong argument that family core has regressed in certain ways. Has society as a whole, are we more integrated? Sure, absolutely, and that's beautiful to see. But a lot of those nuclear family values,
mama, dad,
right?
Yeah,
and I think it's a complex situation as to how we got there. But you raise a point that is very valid, and that I know there's a lot of discussion and
there's a lot of research. I mean, a lot of research out there that shows that. So, and while we would always like to think that Greenwood is unique, there are other communities suffering with these same type of
absolutely
problems. And so there has to be a coming together with what works here and what works there, and there's got to be some hard work done. Too many times, in my opinion. We spend a lot of time meeting, we spend a lot of time talking, and then everybody walks out and goes their own way.
Well, it's kind of like church. You sit there from 11 to 12, and then you go out and you just get back. I mean, you got to take
Rhonda, there's a great song about that. You can't love, what does it say? You can't love God if you don't love your neighbors every day of the week or something like that. You go to church, you feel powerful.
Feel great.
And,
you feel good about yourself for getting up and going.
Right back to.
Right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. You've got to take it.
But we got to get people back in the churches, and we got to get the churches involved.
That's
in
right.
What's happening?
That's right. We've got to get I'd love to see you talk about integrating. I mean, you'd love to see the churches reflect the community that where they sit also, and we've got some great. Religious leaders, some great religious leaders that are constantly asking what they can do and going out there and doing it.
Well, I talked with David the other day, and we were talking about it has to start at home.
It's got to.
It's got to start at home. I said, so in this case, we should ask not what. You remember that, John?
I do,
Kennedy?
of course. Ask not what Greenwood can do for you. Ask what you can do for Greenwood.
Yes, I think
that wasn't exactly his quote.
I know, John. Yes,
but
President
close
Kennedy,
enough.
Yes,
right.
You're right. And I think we should adopt. Maybe that's something we
Absolutely.
should adopt to try to stem the tide and start bringing this boat back around in a coming together way.
And there's so many different ways. And sometimes I think we think that you've got to do something grand. You've got to, and especially in social media, you've got to do something and
well, you got to
look
stand
at me,
out above
right?
the other person.
You got to look at me,
Yep.
But it can be simple. And I've been on here many times and told you just the direct correlation that I see between, well, when I say I see, that studies show between cleaning up and improved
Trash.
quality of
Yep.
life, right? It sounds like a stretch to make that correlation, but it is really not.
Well, I think that is, I remember Pat Partlow and the direction that she was trying to do by having her community meetings, by trying to show the community, these pockets of communities, that they can get things happening.
Right.
Remember, it was
absolutely. She was
was
gone
awesome.
too soon. I wish I'd had more time to work with her. But
whether it's a street light, whether it's a trash pickup, all of those things matter in having pride in your community.
Right. And it sounds like a silly little thing, but it absolutely makes a difference. Now you can drive around Greenwood. North Mathis Road right now is driving me crazy. It's the hardest road to pick up because it's so narrow. You got to have a police escort to pick it up. But people trash that, and you pick it up, and 2 weeks later, sometimes it looks like you haven't.
So the question is, why do people trash?
Again, those reasons are complex. It's just it goes back to a lack of morals instilled in the nuclear family structure.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, obviously, we still have problematic areas. But in our monthly, we're having more than monthly at this point with our Mayor's Youth Council, Trash Time with Tara, ward cleanups, Keep Greenwood County Beautiful, Litter Warriors, in the hundreds of litter cleanups that we've had. When we go out to scout areas to pick up, stretches of roads that are safe, I would say, for safe areas for our youth and volunteers to clean up, it is getting harder and harder to find areas to pick up. So I do see us making a dent in that. But but until we get to that next generation and get them to say, hey, look, you may have a bad influence, whether it's a parent, a guardian, a friend that you're, family friend that you're riding with that literally just rolls the window down and throws a Hardee's bag out the window. To break that cycle, until then, we are somewhat of hamsters on a wheel. But, it's as good as the energy that you've got. And we've got, I'm telling you, I'm on the board of the Municipal Association of South Carolina. I see these other communities, some great mayors across the state tell me what's going on. But we've got more energy, and I'm just using that as an example. Sure. We've got more energy to clean up Greenwood than any other community I see in South Carolina. Period.
Yeah. Well, y'all work very hard at doing this, and it should begin to pay off. But it would be, but it's like it needs to work both ways. And if you're seeing less of this happening, then that means that there is an effect happening.
It's a dent.
I remember healthy neighborhoods.
Healthy neighborhoods. I love your idea with that, and
we need to bring that back.
I know we've talked about that before, but if now is the time to discuss that, again, we need leadership in those neighborhoods to be ready and willing.
That's why healthy neighborhoods, because you had leaders and then you had a group at the top and they disseminate that information, and they would look at what each community needed.
Right. And that's where I think social media can be a great tool. in connecting. Obviously, oftentimes it's such I mean, it's a great way to keep
keyboard warriors. Yeah.
It's such a great tool to keep in touch with, your high school classmates and see what your friend from down the street his family's doing these days. But it can also be just so toxic. We see that goes without saying. But a lot of these, just getting back to the neighborhoods and trash. In cleaning up Greenwood, it's not a hey, look at me thing, but from our like, for instance, our Mayor's Youth Council annual project is monthly litter cleanups with groups. And again, it's not just to post on social media and say, look at me, look at what I've done, but it's to inspire. You don't have to be part of an organized litter cleanup.
That's true.
You can get out there. It's to inspire people to get out in their communities. And if everybody were to clean up a radius around their homes, we would have no trash issue.
Well, I think that's one of the things that in city council that you all rail against. Certain streets, certain areas where people dump stuff.
Right.
That is something you keep dealing with.
It's just wild. It's like they're driving past convenience stations to dump. I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't understand this mindset.
Well, I think those are all definitely parts of the issue, but we've got to channel this emotion into something lasting. Now is the time that I think city council needs to have some heartfelt discussions about what direction do we want to go and how we make it happen.
Yeah.
I hope that the community certainly shows up on Sunday for his
I have no doubt.
Well, I'm just saying, I hope that they do, and that it is a moment that maybe can change history. I would like to think that maybe we can do something like that.
If the community love fest that we had during coronavirus, take for instance the American Pie music video. Mm-hmm. If we can continue to channel that type of positive community energy, then we can do it. But as you said, it's okay after May is over with, after June's over with, right, and we all get back to our lives. Where do we go from there? It takes constant reminders of sacrifices like Officer Keller. It takes constant reminders of that to channel lasting change.
Exactly. Well, Brandon, I really appreciate you coming by here today. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I let you go?
No, I would just encourage everyone to do whatever you can to support Officer Keller's family. Chad Charles and his daughter Allie Keller, and their Allie and DJ's daughter, Chad. Chad, I'm sure. Just a great guy that has given so much to Greenwood, and it's time for us to give back to them and support Chief Shadowan, his 55 sworn officers, Sheriff Kelly, and all that Sheriff Kelly and Cody Bishop,
our first
responders. I'm just mentioning police, our fire,
all of them,
our public safety officers, Chief Tanner Hall and his group. They sacrifice. I mean, the hard work that they do oftentimes goes unappreciated, and sometimes is just straight up disrespected. And if you see something, be the light. You don't have to get into an argument with somebody you see on Facebook, but be the light in our community. And I'm always available. If I don't claim to have all the answers. If there are ideas such as healthy neighborhoods, or anybody has other ideas to support our public safety officers, or support our families and just support our community, I'm always available.
Well, I think these past few days have brought us back to our core, and we cannot let the memory of DJ Keller be in vain. We must keep it alive. I do happen to know that yesterday in the Senate that they did read his name into the record.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, did they do it in the House? I was told.
I believe they did. I will say one other way. I filmed a video this morning, and we're asking, and as I understand U.S. flag code, we do have the right from a local municipal standpoint to ask that flags be lowered. We can't force anybody to do it, but if you've got a flagpole, we ask that you lower your flag to have staff. The governor issued a proclamation, and that is effective for the day of the funeral, which is Sunday. But we're asking those others to do that starting immediately and indefinitely until you feel comfortable raising it back up.
You know what would be really awesome? I don't know if this has been said or not for the funeral, but for everybody to wear blue.
Everybody, yeah.
Wear back to blue. Wear blue on Sunday to the funeral at Phineas Horn.
Absolutely, and I hope that Horn Arena can hold everybody, because like I said, there's going to be people from all over the country coming. Folks that support law enforcement, public safety officers, first responders from all over the country.
I want to say one thing that I haven't. I have heard that the state has been very helpful in helping from Tuesday on how to get all these things done. I've been amazed at the organization that is in place to help when something like this happens. I know from a city administrator, from the city's aspect on how do you do this, that, and the other, and I understand it's been very helpful.
They have, and I'm grateful for that. Our leaders in Columbia, again, oftentimes there's disagreement, partisan disagreements in Columbia that you see, but I've been in Columbia a lot recently over the last 3 months, and I know that again, people disagree about things, but when it comes to things like this, I've been overwhelmed by the support that we have from our state government.
Right. I just wanted to
and
say
our county government, national government. Tim Scott reached out the other day. Was grateful for that, and so we're appreciative of everyone that keeps Officer Keller and his family in their thoughts and prayers, and in many other ways.
Absolutely. Well, Mayor Brandon Smith, thank you so much for coming by today.
Thanks for having me, Ann.
All right. That is going to do it for me right now. I will be back at 5 o'clock this afternoon. That's right. We'll be back at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So let's cue up the music and say adieu. See you after a while, everybody. Bye-bye.